I'm here with Gladwin Mayor Tom Winarski, and we're kind of talking about the highlights of 2011 and the good things to come in 2012. This was a good year for really wrapping up some of these key projects that the city's been involved in for a while. One of which that springs to mind is the fuel farm at Gladwin Settle Memorial Airport.
Yes, finally after, I don't know, maybe about 6 years, that finally is coming to an end. I think the tanks will be installed here in the next 30 days. The platform is in, the piping is in. It's ready to go, and that'll be wrapped up, and that's been a long struggle. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to the airport getting that done, and then they'll be able to supply jet fuel to people that come in. And then they probably are looking next to move on to maybe a hangar addition as far as that part goes. So that all goes to making the airport more self-sustainable.
Right.
So we're looking forward to that.
Another area that's seen a lot of improvement is the park. I noticed the new rustic cabins down there, and I hear there may be some playground equipment on the horizon.
Well, we had a DNR trust fund grant to put in the new day use bathrooms, which are completed, to do some paving and and make the river more handicap accessible. There is a handicap viewing area there as well. We wind up having, like, as you mentioned, the rustic cabins that were put in to try and increase revenues to the park. And probably the only other thing that they are looking at is going for a grant to put some new playground equipment down in the park. One of the other things that was completed under this grant was the refurbishing of one of the tennis courts there. So we have quite we've got a sand volleyball court and a number of other things. So there is quite a few things down there to keep people occupied and entertained, and the river, of course, is its own attraction.
Right. Another project that was wrapped up in the last year and made a significant difference is the water tower project.
Yes, we increased the storage from 300,000 gallons to 500,000 gallons, and we just finished up this summer putting in a 12-inch loop from the water tower down to the hospital and across Quarter Street, which gave us two 12-inch water main accesses to loop the city, and it wound up increasing pressure within the city to between 50 and 75 pounds, which we used to have a real big problem up on the west end of town with the water pressure. Right. We always had the volume, but we never had the water pressure. Now that we've completed that, did the pressure testing. We're now going for what is called an ISO rating change, which may, in fact, if we're successful, will lower insurance rates within the city for both the residential and the business community. And then that would only leave the process, once we've done all that, the process of dealing with the old tower, which we'll look at taking down if everything is according to standards where we feel that we don't need to have that, because it would be very difficult to put that tower back into use, because it would take a couple $100,000 of refurbishment, and that tower sets lower than the new tower, and so you would have to have something to monitor the volumes between the two towers. So eventually we'll look at removing that tower.
Very good. Another new addition to the city over by the historical village is the farmers market. Now, people have enjoyed the farmers market kind of in that location all summer long, but this is going to be, it's good.
This will give people a covered space to display their wares and sell them. We're hoping that obviously we'll get more use because first of all, one of the parts that's in the new farmers market is bathrooms. So, you know, you can wind up, at least the vendors and the public that use there could have toilet facilities. That just actually broke ground probably 30 days ago and should be done in the next 30 days. So it's a real short-term project in terms of the time period, but we've been talking about it for almost 3 years now. Mm-hmm. So it'll be nice to get that one wrapped up and done with. So
that'll definitely be one of those projects that can, you know, propel us into different sort of projects like a community garden.
Yes, and that's one of the things that I'm looking at right now is we're soliciting input from the citizens as to their interest in a community garden. We have some land, actually industrial lots, where half of the industrial lot was declared wetlands, and so it really makes the two lots unbuildable, and those set between Howarth Court and James Robertson Drive on the south side of the road. So we just wound up having the brush cleared off, and we'll look at, you know, getting it tilled up and then finding out how much of an interest that we have from the citizenry. We're going to try and get some grant funds to fence it, because if you don't put a fence up, you aren't going to have many vegetables by the time the deer get done with it. But there is water there, and we're, you know, if we get enough grant funds, we can put in a sprinkling system of some type as well.
Very nice. Oh, that would be wonderful for people who would like to do that.
And the thing is, if people wind up producing enough, they might wind up also then taking and selling it at the farmer's market. The only people that's not going to make happy is our local produce markets, as well as family fare, because they sell vegetables. But I think there's enough people that aren't.
Well, there are plenty of people who just don't have a green thumb,
yeah,
so I'm sure they will definitely not be gardening.
Yeah.
This Gladwin is a community that has a lot of assets and a lot of very generous people. What is something, if someone wants to really support Gladwin, what's a project that you would recommend supporting?
Well, of course, they can always make a tax-deductible donation to the city, and you know, they can specify the use. The one thing that I know that we need some help with is the arena. With hockey being down, they struggle to make their bond payments, and it is a facility that gets a lot of use.
Right.
Probably it's used for at least 9 months out of the year. The problem is that we really haven't found enough programs to run from April, when the ice goes off the arena, to October, when the ice goes back on. You know, there's a few things that happen there. Sometimes we wind up having a home show or a craft show or whatever, but we still are struggling with the economy and how many kids can afford to be involved in hockey. So they could either actually support hockey and get more kids involved in hockey, or they could support the arena by making a donation to the city. I've asked the arena to start their block, or the recognition program, and that certainly is a way for people to contribute to the facility and wind up getting some recognition out of it as well.
It's a great gift for Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, 2012. For you personally, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I always like to travel. I'm trying to talk my wife into going on a Greek and Turkey cruise, but I think I may wind up doing that myself. As far as a family, we're all my children and I are going to, and grandchildren are going to Disneyland or Disney World in Florida in June.
Fun.
So, and I'm also, if I don't wind up doing the Greek and Turkey cruise, I'm looking at a archaeological dig in Sweden.
Very good. That would be what, your third? Is it
Oh
third?
no, I've done 5 digs so
Five.
far. 4 overseas and 1 down in Illinois.
Oh, very good.
So, and of course, I wind up continuing to be involved in the city. I have my own little shop that I wind up doing craft fairs, and so I keep out of
Keep
trouble.
yourself busy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in and talking to us today. It's always great to have somebody in here to chat with. So thanks for letting our readers know a little bit about what's going on in 2012 and what happened in 2011.
Well, thank you, Steph.
Thanks.
Bye.